I can resonate fully with your journey. While I haven't had the breast cancer point, I did have a scare.
Yeah,
I think this is a female thing. A lot of people are dealing with breast cancer and it's because they're not living in alignment, but that's a whole nother
100%.
discussion.
Yeah,
Um,
which we probably will have at some point.
yes, probably. And we're always, no matter where you go, there's a purpose to everything that you do. And we live with free will, right? And this is a conversation that I have with clients because when you come and visit or you go and visit a psychic or an energy worker or whatever it is, it's just a snapshot in point in time. That's right here and now, and that's where you should be living. And when you're working with the energy at that time, it's not just a snapshot of you as an individual, it's a snapshot of the community, the whole world, the whole universe, right here and now. And, you're buying a house, for example, and, you come to me and I'm like, okay, I can see the house. I know what it looks like, da, 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 da. I can deal it all out. And then they come back again and it's like, I can't see that house anymore. It's because people have free will. So it's not just about you, it's about the collective. So the person who was selling that house, something may have happened and they've had to change their circumstance. So they've had free will to be like, well, we're not selling the house anymore. So, where that point in time was, 3 weeks ago from your appointment, that's not necessarily what's happening. You need everything to play out exactly from that snapshot, the way that it's meant to. But we don't always play that out because we get a few distractions. We don't follow the crumbs properly, but it always ends up where it's meant to go. You still end up buying a house, or maybe you don't. And that's the point. And then you find out a year later or 6 months later or 5 years later why that house, you didn't move and you're still living in the same house, or why you did move and that was a stepping stone for a bigger house, but you follow the journey and it's not just about you. So when you're thinking about the new human in that greater consciousness, it's understanding that it's not just about you as an individual. Your energy is so vast and connects with so many people, and their energy and their decisions impact you and the 10,000 other people or the 100,000 other people. It's so wild.
Just on what you just said, do you think then that, so say I'm the client that I had a session with you and you said that I was going to buy a house and then it didn't happen.
Yep.
Because the other person changed their mind and they didn't want to sell it. Do you believe though that I needed to think I was going to buy that house and they were never going to sell their house because there was a better house for me down the road, even though my logical brain wanted that house? Did that all happen to guide me? Like, was that on purpose? Is that what you believe?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sometimes. And I've had the house situation with 3 different clients actually, and it's all played out in different ways.
Yeah.
To the point that one person with the house, they went in, they offered, there was a house available and they offered, they were thinking about it. It was like the dress that you didn't buy at the shop that day and you go home, you're thinking, oh my gosh, why didn't I buy that dress? And you go back and get it because you think about it all the time. And then it fell through. Everything just fell through. It was just almost done and it didn't work out. And that person that I know ended up being very unwell, like not long afterwards. And living in that particular property, it would have been very complicated for their life. So you just actually don't know.
And I think this brings us back to one of the points that we sort of half made earlier, which was around operating in your day-to-day. And a practice that I started doing this year was, and it's probably available to people on different levels, but waking up in the morning, taking a shower, washing away every attachment that I had to the way my day was going to plan out, but more than that, to the way that so it's like dropping my to-do list. Yes, that's a helpful practice, but also dropping what I thought I wanted to do to work towards my business, the labels that I believed myself to be, like I'm an astrologer, I'm going to do this. It's like letting everything, essentially I got to the point where every day in the shower, I would put everything down and just open up a conversation with the divine and just be like, show me what I need to see today. Show me what I need to do. Show me where I need to focus to be on the trajectory of my highest timeline. And sometimes the only message that came through was like, clean out that messy drawer that's in your kitchen.
Isn't it so annoying when they say that?
And sometimes it was book a psychic reading with this particular person because she's going to tell you to start this podcast with this friend that you've been voice noting because that's your purpose. And like sometimes it's big, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened. But sometimes it's just pay the bills or, you know, get that thing out of your field or out of your mind or, you know, and a lot of the time this year, even putting down things like as a mundane example, like exercise, right? I've always been a Pilates girl since having babies late last year, twins. I hadn't gotten back into Pilates and I did the same thing. Like I think I'm just going to try and sign up to another reformer studio because that's my default. But instead of doing that, I asked and I was told, don't do that. Sign up to this at-home program, which is actually to reset your nervous system and remove trauma from your body. And it's like 10 or 15 minute little practices every day that aren't about strength, that aren't about getting fit in the traditional sense, but that's what my body needed at the moment. So I did that for 3 months. And then I was like, I think I'm done with this. What should I do next? And then it was sign up to breath work.
Yeah.
And I just did breath work and I just walked for another 3 months. And it was only about a month ago that I dove back into my Pilates and strength training because it was the right time. And I'm giving that example because it's like my logical brain was like postpartum, I need to do Pilates. I need to get fit again. I need to bounce back. I need to just, you know, all of just the normal narrative around that sort of thing. But rather than doing that, I was guided into some completely different pathways, which have actually supported my physical body, my vessel, to be able to build a way better foundation to build the strength on top of. And I think that is, a parallel example of how we can operate on a day-to-day. And I think you and I have both been doing this year in particular.
I've taken your advice, actually. I do the shower conversation, but I do it at the end of the day. So I know that, like, as well as the beginning of the day, actually I ask the question, the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
I have taken that bit of advice from you to be like clearing out, what do I need to do today?
I think operating in a non-attached way is one of the most powerful things we can do in the sense of not even being attached to our own identity. Because in the future, it sounds funny to say it like that, but going forward, it feels like the less attached we can be. So you mentioned manifestation before, right? And this came to me in the car the other day. I was thinking about manifestation. I was thinking the practice is sit down and start writing what you want.
Yeah.
But the very practice of writing down what you want is based on your state in this moment in time. So in this moment in time, I want $1 million. I want a house. I wanted this. I wanted that. These are not my wants, but yeah, let's just say that that's what you want, right? But you're limiting your wants by your current state of mind, your current state of being, your current level of consciousness. It's limited.
So limited.
Whereas if you step into the shower and ask Source, God, the divine, the creator, your guides, whoever you want to be talking to allow you to let everything go, be an open channel, an open vessel for what wants to come through. What comes through is beyond what you could ever think with your logical mind that you wanted, because you're getting onto a timeline and onto a path and onto a frequency that you could never create by saying, I want that house down the road that I've had my eye on for da-da-da-da-da. It's like, and I think just to circle back to what you were just saying about, you know, people say that they want to buy this house, or you say that there's a house on the horizon and then it not working out. It's because of our limited egoic minds thinking these are the things that we want. And so that's what's in our field. Whereas when we let it all go, continue every day, non-attachment. I'm not anything. I'm not Tara. I'm not this. I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. And it's like even with the mask thing, you know, the masks that we wear, it's putting it all down and just being open. Show me what to do today. How can I be the highest embodiment of my highest timeline, or whatever language you want to put to it?
The way that I do that now in a very simple way, I have a mentor, I'm studying a different style of kinesiology. It's not actually about the kinesiology, it's around the concepts of it. And instead of saying I am, a lot of people manifest with I am in charge, I'm in tune, I am all these things. They just go, I, Sarah. Say your name, I, and that connects with the deepest part of you, connects to your soul, because you're not putting a pretense to anything else. It's just, I, Sarah, because you do have to embody yourself in the here and now. You are actually Tara. I am actually Sarah right here and now. I mean, you've got some spiritual people that actually have spiritual names on top of their physical being. But when you just say, I, Sarah, here and now, it crumbles, it collapses any other timeline, any other life that's happening, unless it's major. And it removes everything out of the field, like you were saying. I'm embodying myself right here, right now. And it's a very simple thing.
What's coming through now is sort of like, as you're saying that, it's almost like, well, it's the presence thing, right? Because it's blocking out everything in the future and blocking out everything in the past and allowing you to be just present in that moment with exactly who you are. Yeah, that's equally as powerful. I really like that.
Yeah. And, when you learn spiritual practice, like you go everywhere and then you always come back to self. Like you get to that level of ascension where it's like you're at that level then. And it's like, okay, I can only live for the moment. I can, think about tomorrow. I can think about the past, but what's actually happening is right now. There's no more or less than that.
Absolutely. 100%. And I think that's why both of those practices are so profound. Although they're really simple, it's so difficult to either be present or to move in a non-attached way.
Oh,
it's extraordinarily difficult. However, life is only ever created in the here and now, exactly what you just said. And it just feels like if that's the one thing that you can do to move forward into what you want to be, and it's okay to have big visions. We know very well what it is to be like a dreamer and to, somebody who thinks in huge ways and can see the future.
This
literally,
podcast is literally whatever you broadcast, whatever we want to call it. We still haven't decided, but yeah, this is big picture ideation, right?
But it's created in the everyday.
Yes.
And the way we brought this to life was through these exact practices. Like, what do I need to do today?
Yep.
And I think that that's something that's really tripped me up, because when you think about starting a business, for example, you are bombarded with all of the, start an Instagram, build a community, do this, do that, do this. And it's very difficult to stay present and to actually do the action. But this is Neptune in Aries. This is the act. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is taking action. It's having willpower and drive and desire. So this energy we're being very much supported in the physical in 2026 to bring the vision down into the physical and take action on it every single day. So that's why those practices are so profound, particularly right now.
I love that. And I think I feel like it's cool that we've been able to embody that before the fact. Like we're talking about that now because we've actually lived that for the last 6 or 12 months, doing things completely differently. You start one way. I mean, when I started my business, it's completely different now to what I thought. I, in 10,000 blue moons, never thought that I would be sitting here recording conversation with you or anyone.
Yeah.
That was not on my horizon at all. But
we only met
by accident, actually.
5 months ago.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I've known you for like 1,000 years.
We literally met 5 months ago.
And we didn't even really meet, to be honest. So I have been living in that way for a year. I've just kind of gone, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm getting told, I don't know, I have this desire, or I have this push, I have this something. Sometimes it's thoughts, sometimes it's a heart feeling, sometimes it's a nervousness in my gut. Sometimes it's just do it. Yes, I'm in. You know, there's different kind of degrees of full embodiment and trusting instinct and trusting that move into the future. And I don't get the same message every single time. I don't get, the channel through from source and I'll be like, okay, Sarah, you need to book in for this event and blah, 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 blah. It's like, a common thing if you're on social media is like you'll get the ad for, going to the Pilates class. Oh, maybe I should start Pilates. Well, that's the sign that you probably should exercise. Do you actually need to do Pilates? Probably not, but you need to start moving your body. And that's, you saying like dropping all the stuff, taking the ego out of it, taking our logical mind out of what we think to be what we should do and going, there's something bigger here that we're leading you to. So you can't just jump in onto everything unless you do have the full body, yes, which we can discuss at another time, I believe. But you don't always get the same signal to do the thing that you need to do.
Sometimes you don't get any signal at all, which
That's
is
true.
what you just said.
That is very
And that's when it becomes really frustrating.
Yeah.
And frustration has almost been a default emotion for me the last few years as well. Frustration in why can't I just build the goddamn business in the same way that everyone else can do it? Why can't I just do that? Because I have a deep resistance around Instagram, for example. Not saying that I'm never going to not be on Instagram. Like I might be sharing reels of this exact podcast on Instagram really soon. So I'm not always ruling everything out. But for example, I did feel deep resistance around building a business solely on Instagram, like Instagram being my only channel for calling in the people to work with me. And I just felt like that wasn't right for me. And sometimes you can ask for messages and there's nothing. And then you move into this state of frustration. And that's when I think that we tend to start seeking outside of ourselves. You start to go, oh, well, I'm not doing anything. Why aren't I doing anything? I need to be, because that's the narrative as well, that we need to be posting every day or doing something or moving towards our goals. And what I've really experienced this year, and we've spoken about this in detail, is about the waves of energy.
I love this analogy.
And it came through my session with you, this analogy. And the wave is that sometimes we're in, when the wave comes in and it crashes in and there's sort of like this energetic, there's a lot of force behind it. And sometimes we're riding the wave, so to speak.
Yes.
And we feel momentum and we feel inspiration and we feel movement. And then sometimes when that wave's in the receding and it's pulling back before it started to go and you're like in the void.
Yes.
And that's where things can feel like they're not happening, like you're not moving, like you're not doing anything and you feel stuck. And for me, it's like frustration, a generator. That's our default when we're not a generator in human design, when we're not moving forward. And the way this played out for me this year was that after having a session with you and realizing that it's okay to be in the wave is actually the receding wave, the pullback.
That's where the power's at.
More important than
So when you can't have a wave moving forward unless you've got the drawback of energy.
Right.
You need to have the drawback, and that is like the key piece of information. And when you're in that frustration, I'm a manager, so when we talk about like all the different things, you do have to actually have. This is just a little segue. You do have to have an idea around lots of different avenues. Astrology, kinesiology, human design. I don't know, Reiki, like all the things. Do you know what I mean? There's information and all of that. So as a manager, and I get frustrated and anger, like I'm on the borderline of the two things. So I'm the same. Like you start to feel lost or you're not doing things when you're in that drawback. But once you understand the wave and the power and then the force moving forward, you can ground in that energy. That's the silent time where you rebuild. And that frustration is, if you're looking at it on a grand scale around life movement, usually when you're frustrated is when you're about to hit the precipice for change.
100%.
And that is, Like when that happens, incredible. And when you know that there's that frustration or anger or however that resonates within you, you can kind of go, that's okay. That's okay to be like that right now. But identify with it and go, well, what do I need to do? Sit in the shower, water down on you. I remove everything. What do I need to do? I actually did that activity one time. I thought I'll try Tara's technique in the shower. I like to try all the things because I have to have a lot of tools under my belt to support the amount of people that I support because there's not a one-stop fix for everybody. And the day I had so many things on my to-do list. Like sometimes I actually plan my weeks in half-an-hour increments. So I make sure I get everything done because I've got a lot on my plate. And Source told me, you just need to rest. Just rest. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You've got to be joking. So in the essence and in the faith of trust, I rested. And it was the start of me unwinding. I needed a lot of rest. I think energetically with some planets, we were starting to go through a big shift. I had a lot of things coming up that I didn't foresee. And I actually needed to be still with myself, recalibrate, ground in, build my energy field up so that I was ready for what was coming in the next month, because the next month was like a kicker. And I needed to rest. And it wasn't one day of rest. I actually didn't ask the next day what I needed to do because I had said yes to rest that one day. It showed me how tired I actually was. And I had like a whole week of rest. It was incredible. And, my husband always says to me, you never slow down, you never stop, you never know how to relax. It's like, yeah, that's probably true. And I hate to say that that's true. But, listening that one time gave me a whole week of rest of what I actually needed, to the point that I fell asleep at 5 o'clock one afternoon. I didn't wake up until the next morning.
Wow.
So yeah, in that drawback of the wave, it is also so powerful. It gives you exactly what you need at that point in time. And it's usually not what we think we need.
Something that I learned as well in the drawback is that the sooner you can, and this word is used a lot, but the sooner you can surrender to where you're at and whatever it is that you're feeling and just move right into it, like lean right in to that, whether it be frustration or like tiredness or exhaustion or whatever it is, the sooner you actually get out of it.
Yes.
So you just move further in. I'm not getting any intel. I feel stuck. I feel frustrated. Why my life isn't going anywhere. You feel like completely, it's not true, but all of these things come over you.
Yeah.
And it's like the sooner that you can move in there. And I think the practices that we've been speaking to really help with that, because if you just put everything down and then surrender open to exactly where you are in the moment, put it all down, ask to be shown, ask to just be shown what you need to do today. And if it's rest or something like that, and then the quicker you will actually find that the next day, sometimes it only takes me a day now. And if I'm just like, I'm in frustration, I completely put everything down, just be a mum or go for a walk or do whatever it is that I feel called. And then the next day, the channel opens. It feels like there's creative inspiration there, downloads, or sometimes it lasts for 3 months. We can't control that.
It depends what phase you're in, I guess. And that comes back to your astrology and, working with.
With next year in 2026, though, I feel like there is this quickening. So Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, this is fast energy. It's cerebral energy. It's air. It's quick. And Aries is fire. Aries is take action.
You're a blazing horse. Like, it's going to be fast.
It's quickening. And I think that the reason the pullback, the wave is so important is because the more we can do that now, the more we can recognize that this is what we're being shown to do. It's almost like the preparation. It's preparing our physical vessel to hold the energy that wants to come through. So the stuckness and the frustration isn't what it seems. It's actually there to recalibrate, to release, to like renew, so that when the next thing drops in, we have the ability to hold it. And this has been something else that's been so profound for me this year, is just understanding that it feels like on a 3D level, like to anyone else, externally, I haven't been working on my business. I haven't been doing anything. I've been working, because we equate work with output. We equate work with how much we're getting done, how much money we're making. And all of that can be important on some level. Of course, if you need to make money, you've got to go to work and do the things that you need to do. I've kind of been on maternity leave with the twins. And so I've sort of been working but not working. And it's been frustrating because there are things that I've wanted to do, and I have seen a few clients and done a few events and bits and pieces, but it hasn't been to the speed that my Capricorn stellium would like me to be moving. I am ambitious. But this year has really, really been that lesson in preparing my vessel. And it's sort of been like all the things through the breath work, through that nervous system recalibration, through sessions with you, through sessions with my other practitioners, through the rest, like the sleepless nights, I feel like even have been there for a reason, so that I have a nap every single day so that I can reset my physical being. And I've kind of found this rhythm where I just know now when things feel off, I can just go to my tools and get into this place so much faster. And I really believe it's because what's to come, even though we can't see it, is going to be so much bigger on a frequency level that we need to prepare now.
I agree with that, because when I do sit and meditate a little bit, and I do an active meditation, actually. I use my kinesiology. So every time I do my own kinesiology, that's my kind of active meditation. That's when I spend a bit more time sitting in like where things are going. And it always tells me next year it's on. And I don't get that just for myself. It's a very big energy. Even talking about it now, my heart energy, like I can hardly take a breath with how big it is. It is exciting. It is scary. It is full. It is something that you can't even give any more words around. It is a lot. For some people, it's going to be on. Not everyone. People that have been doing what they say is the work, even the silent work, it's going to be on. You have been in the rafters for a while, figuring it out, doing the work, unthreading everything, removing the karmic attachments, doing the inner healing, changing careers, changing partners, changing how, like you're doing all the stuff. And next year, because you've spent this whole year shedding, like it's going to be incredible. It is going to be incredible. And for the people that haven't been kind of doing the work, that's okay. There will be things available to you at the level that you're ready for. There's going to be things available for everybody at the level they're ready for. You know, if you haven't had a partner for 10 years, you know, next year could be the year. Like there's that energy available, but you also had to kind of done a little bit of inner stuff. You had to have that drawback. I feel like this year, while it's been active and messy and aggressive and unloading, it's almost like a really big drawback in itself. It's a bigger wave of collective energy where there's been a lot of rumble and tumble. And when you get pulled back in that wave, you don't always know which way's up. But next year's like that wave crash where it's like, yeah, I get to expose the ocean on the sand. I get to see all the shells, all the animals, all the things. And you just get to walk down the beach and pick them up as you find something pretty. Like there is going to be abundance there. Next year is like an incredible year.
And it's big on the level that I think the other thing that I've figured out this year, not figured out, that's actually the wrong word to use because it goes into what I want to say. Not figuring things out is actually what I wanted to say, because operating on that day-to-day level where we're asked to be being guided and just taking the action without seeing the big picture is actually the perfect place to be. And it feels deeply uncomfortable because you can't see what's beyond. Even us recording today in this very moment, we don't know what this looks like next week or next month. there isn't a plan very far beyond this conversation. We knew that we wanted to have this conversation at this exact moment. That's kind of what we were shown. But anything beyond that, we're not sure. But we know that when we get there, more information will come through. And this is the exact way of operating in the new paradigm. And the way I want to reference this astrologically is the nodes.
Okay.
So the nodes are in Virgo and Pisces. The south node is in Virgo. The north node is in Pisces. And the south node in Virgo is teaching us collectively to let go of the overanalyzing. And truly in the new paradigm, I feel like the marketing plan, the business plan, the strategy, like all of the things that we thought that we had to do to have a successful business is really not what we need to do at all. The planning so far forward is kind of like the manifestation thing where we think that this is exactly what we have to do and it's like the 3 to 5 year plan. It's not your job to figure out where you're going to be in 5 years' time. It truly is not your job. And then when you bring it back down to like a micro level in your business, it's not your job to like have a whole month's worth of content planned out because you're not leaving any space for inspired creative intelligence to surge through you, for you to be shown.
Contradictory to what they talk about now as authentic conversation.
Exactly.
So when you're planning that conversation 6 months ahead or a month ahead or whatever it be, yeah, you can do that. But where's the authenticity in that?
And
when you live in a day-by-day moment, you're like, oh, okay, this is actually happening today, where a lot of people that you notice that have a huge amount of followers are like literally Snapchatting or whatever their meal, or this is me crying, or, you know, that really live, authentic living in recorded form.
I have to say this because I promised my friend that I would say it. My preparation for today, all I did yesterday was get my eyebrows done. She goes, how's the preparation going? And I said, yeah, I'm just getting my eyebrows done. There's no preparing. I've not got notes. I've not got anything. I actually feel deep resistance in preparing for this. And she's like, can you please mention that that's the only preparation that you did for this podcast?
Well, I mentioned to you this morning, the only thing I did was play Donkey Kong on my daughter's Nintendo, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, but I never play video games. And yesterday I'm like, I want to play Donkey Kong today. So, and it felt very uncomfortable.
It is. It's really uncomfortable and it's not our default, and it's going to take some time to get into. It's essentially flow with life.
Yeah.
It's trust. It's deep trust that you're being guided by whomever you believe that you're being guided by. And it's North Node in Pisces is truly connecting to higher consciousness and a consciousness that is guiding us, that is outside of ourselves. And I really think that in order to create and share the magic that is inside of us, we need to trust that we're going to be shown the way every day, because the more we try and plan it out and analyze it and think about it and prepare for it, the more we're dulling down that magic. And so, yeah, it's just a whole new level of operating, really.
It is. And, you know, something that has taken me a very long time, and I'm still learning this, is every psychic or every healer I went to, you know, all the people, and they're like, Sarah, you've just got to stay grounded. And I'm like, oh, what does grounded mean? You know, that's like going out on the grass and spending time and like splashing myself on, you know, ocean water, which I also do refer clients to do those things because that's specific for them. But they actually never said to me what grounded was for me. And grounded for me, and like I said, I'm still learning this, it's just being in the moment, like being still. Everything is so unique to every individual on how they prepare or how they move forward with their journey. And when I say grounded to you, if that came up in a session for you, it would be a completely different thing. Like your grounding is, you know, looking after your vessel. Like you take a bath or, you know, you have some real time. It's still time, but it's innate to you. And I think the thing I love about my sessions is it's so bespoke every single time. So while, you know, grounding is a very important thing to get into the energy of what you need to do, it's like you get shown what the tools are or told what the tools are. Here's a clue. Here's a bit more of a clue to be like, okay, yours was like the wave. that made complete sense to you. We also had an analogy around the sun and the planets, with that navigation around. And it gives you context that lets you understand exactly what you need. And it's so different for every single person. Like, we have similarities in our lives, but the way we go about our everyday and how we ground, and I use the word ground, is completely different.
Yeah. And that is why when we look to things like Instagram on the daily and everyone's sharing their daily practices and their morning routines and their rituals, it's so actually detrimental to how to be connected to yourself, because we're literally just copying and pasting somebody else's formula that works for them and thinking that that's the way that we connect to ourselves or get healthy or ground, whatever it is. Exactly right. And I think this goes full circle to what we've shared so far, which is about the foundation, and the foundation is connecting to yourself. And whether you do that through an astrological reading, whether you do that through working with someone like yourself, whatever it might be, just know that the inner work right now is so important, because moving forward, the only way to operate is going to be through your internal navigation system. And the more that you're still repeating these formulas that have worked previously, they're not going to work anymore. They're really not going to work anymore. And so in order to get prepared for this quickening, this new energy, this new paradigm, which I feel like we're going to talk deeper into exactly what that means. But for now, it's like preparing yourself and knowing yourself on such a deep level so that you can be internally guided is like the most important work we can possibly do right now.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to understand yourself. There's so much interference. I have spent my whole life trying to understand who I am. Yet, on the flip side, I have known myself very well my whole life, even as a child. It's like, I'm quite determined. I know what I want. I have always lived by kind of intuition and guidance. And yet, I have done that many, I don't know, personality profilings, like deep inner soul work. And now I'm like, you just need to be still and listen, and you get all the information. You still need to know yourself, definitely. I think the knowing yourself now is not your Myers-Briggs. It's how your body hums. Like, when you sit in stillness, we remove the chaos. When everything's burned down, how do you rise? How do you rise and know that you're being recreated into the phoenix? How do you know that that phase is over for you and what that looks like in essence of feeling? Where do you feel it in your body? How do you translate that through your unconscious and conscious mind? And how do you open your eyes? There's always a resonance or a hum. I mean, we talk about vibration as energy healers all the time. I mean, there's so much coming about it now. There's resonance and there's memory and water. Like, our body's made of this water. So it's like, why are we not listening to that hum of our body more? Because we're so busy, we don't get time, we get distracted. And it's like that silence, that grounding, that caring for yourself. It's so important in that moment. How are you actually feeling? I mean, we're teaching our children a new way of communicating, right? We didn't have this as when we were growing up, but now we talk around emotional resonance in children. So it's like, oh, how do you feel about that? I mean, it can go extreme, but the whole conversation now is, all right, something's happening to you. Where's that sitting in your body? You actually have a conversation. Well, I have a conversation with my children now. It's like, okay, where's that feeling sitting for you? Because when you understand where that is feeling, and then when you start looking at it on technical level of energy, everything has resonance in organs and, your auric field and all these types of things. So it's like, as soon as you can catch that or understand where that is, then you can, breath work is a simple thing. Just breathe it out, shake your body. It's why kids are so mobile. It's like they're emotional after school and they They just want to play and dance. They don't want to be sitting down and doing homework. You know, they're trying to shake off the day. And as adults, we don't do that because we're not being still with that hum of our body to go, what do I actually need now? What's the silence? How do we move forward? And I think next year, that's what I like to teach. You know, where are you listening to yourself? Where's that hum? Where's that vibration going? And moving forward in the concept of like the new human, you can't, well, you can potentially, but I would like to think that you can't have very in tune spiritual gifts without understanding the hum of your own being. And so it is about finding stillness. It's understanding when things need to be burned down, to be rebirthed, to get that drawback in wave, to come crashing forward, to make momentum. You really do need to understand yourself. And like I said, not in like a personality profiling way, but I think it's more around the physical hum that happens in your body now. That stillness, that silence, the feeling of it. And sometimes I know now, like when I'm heightened, you get that jittery when you've had way too many coffees in a day, right? You know, when you're on the edge of your adrenal system going, okay, I've had too much now, but you keep smashing the coffees back because you've got all the things to do. But your body gives you an indication to say that's enough. Or no, you've got more tolerance to move forward. If you feel coffee in your body, that's a perfect start.
Yeah.
To be like, I need another one or I don't need another one.
It is so much harder than what it sounds as well, just to be still.
Yes.
And just tune into your body.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are doing that enough.
No. It is a big lesson for me that I've had to kind of sit with this year. And I would say that I preach to a lot of my clients about, you know, their tasks and their tools. It's not even their tasks always, but it's the tools that their guides or source or whatever is given them to say, you know, this is how we move forward. And a lot of the time it's just such simple stuff. And I go, oh, I haven't even done that for like months, if not all year. And it's a reminder for me also to kind of go, you should be practicing what you preach. But we do live busy lives, you know.
100%.
It's hard to fit all of those things in. But is the way moving forward, I feel like for the emerging mystic of whatever that looks like in 1,000 years or 2,000 years' time, this is the stepping stones of how we get to the evolution of human, where we're moving into a way of being that transcends so much physical.
And the doorway is into the physical.
Correct.
I feel like this is the perfect time because we've given like a lot of practical, personal practices and things like that. I think this is the perfect time to pause and then open that door in the next.
Oh, I'm getting chills.
Okay.